and the India trade policies. From Africa, we generally export the pigeon peas, yellow gram, and green gram, while domestically we consume the edible beans, that is the red kidney beans, the black eye beans, white pea beans, etc., including the cowpeas. The major sources of the import for India, and that is the pigeon peas, which comes from the Africa. The Myanmar contributes, I'm only referring to import figures, Myanmar contributes about 52%, while the Tanzania contributes about 21%, Mozambique is about 15%, Malawi is about 8%. You might be surprised with the numbers. There should be uniform numbers between the Tanzania, Mozambique, and Malawi. The reason being this is ununiform because the data was captured from the Department of Commerce in India, and that is mainly depending on the financial years that they are taking the data. Mung and urad, definitely the Myanmar plays a major role, while the Tanzania is about 6%, Mozambique is about 2%, and Kenya is also 2%. Chickpeas, the Australia 46%, 39%, while Tanzania plays a little bit role, is about 5%. So in general, apart from the pigeon peas, the mung and chickpeas, there is hardly quantity comes from Africa to India. The production figures, the Indians' production for the pigeon peas is about 2.7 million, imported by India is 500,000 tons, and then Africa contributions is almost about 50%. Mung, the India's total production is about 3 millions, imported about 623, and then against that the imported from Africa is about 53,000 tons, which is about 9% of the total import. Green gram and chickpeas, the production is about 8.2 million, while the African contribution is about 20,000 tons, which is hardly 5% of the total import. Coming to the specific country, the Tanzania has about 94.5 million hectares of the land, out of which the 43 million hectares is only suitable for agriculture. The important to note is that only about 23% of the suitable land is being cultivated as of now. The Tanzania economy is heavily depends on agriculture, and which accounts for the 24.5% of the GDP and employs about the 78% of the population. The maize is a staple food and is largely produced about 5.17 million tons, while the sugar is followed by sugarcane and tobacco in Tanzania. With regard to the pulses the Tanzania produces, now I actually just rounded off the figures. I have not mentioned about what they produce because they do consume locally as well. But what has been exported in the last 5 years, the Tanzania exports around 75 to 95,000 tons. The figures are just an estimate that we have seen the thing. Depending on the financial year cutoff, if you do the January to December or March to March, the figures may vary. And next year we expect about 70,000 tons. The point should be remembered that we are also expecting the El Nino in Tanzania. So this figure, it is just an estimate. We do not know. We are yet to see that thing. Green gram is about the Tanzania generally on an average they export about 30 to 50,000 tons out of, this year also we are having a decent crop of the green gram, and we expect around 40,000 tons. Chickpeas, in general that we export around 30 to 50,000 tons, and this year also we expect around 45. There isn't any significant increase in a chickpeas production. The key challenge is that what we have is a regulatory challenges plus the quality is not consistent just because of the not uniform seeds. Kenya. Once again, the similar story in Kenya. The 26% of the country's GDP depends on agriculture sectors and 75% of the peoples are deployed in agriculture sectors. The main crops are the maize, wheat, rice, coffee, tea, fruits, sugarcane. These are the main crops of the things. With regards to the pulses, the Kenya used to produce a big quantity, but of late the Kenyan production has gone down, and we have seen the last 5 years that the export of the pigeon peas is hardly about 15 to 20,000 tons, and we expect the similar quantity of productions in this year as well. Green gram, the Kenya produces between 40 to 35,000 tons. That is their production has a lot of variance. And this year the crop is good. We expect the Kenya to export around 30,000 tons. Key challenges, it is very common. Currency is a major factor, and it is quite varies devaluation is a major concern. Second point also to be remembered that Kenya also has a bit of domestic consumptions, and that is probably that available quantity for export that may vary. Ethiopia. Ethiopia has done very well in terms of the export. Ethiopia in sesame, now they are the #1 producers in a sesame seed. Earlier the Sudan was the key the things. Now Ethiopia produces around 68 to 97,000 tons. These are not the export figures. My apology for that, the historical export. I think these are the the production figures. And the export because they consume quite a lot locally as well. The red kidney beans that they produce between 68 to 97,000 tons. White pea beans is about 40,000 to 82,000 tons. Red lentils about 80 to 160,000 tons. Desi chickpeas about 200 to 500,000 tons. Green mung beans about 10,000 to 25,000 tons. The key challenge is that there is a increased domestic consumption is a key concern for the thing. Volatile crop productions because of the dependency on the weather is a major factor that we have it. Local securities is like the entire trade is done through the ECX as being the major challenges. Sudan obviously, it has a bigger challenge is the OFAC sanction. With regards to the pigeon peas, that Sudan does produce around 40 to 50,000 tons, and we expect around 40 to 45,000 tons production this year. Mozambique again, it has quite a large land bank. They are the one I think that using the least land as of now. With regards to the production, Mozambique growth is very well in terms of all the production. The green gram, they are producing between 8 to 16,000 tons, and I think this year we expect about 12,000 tons. Pigeon peas, their production, export, not production, my apology for that. It's around 55 to 75,000 tons, and we also expect similar crop this year. Cowpeas is concerned, which is mainly used for the domestic consumptions. They do produce about 15 to 20,000 tons, and they do export to the neighboring countries like Zambia, Zimbabwe for the relief food distribution. The key challenges in Mozambique is purely the climate, and obviously that more or less due to the climatic conditions that the production does vary. A wide fluctuation of the local currencies obviously is very common across the Africa. Malawi is done very well in terms of the production. The population is about 84% population is engaged in an agriculture business. The main agriculture product out of Malawi is the tobacco, sugarcane, cotton, corn, potatoes, and they are the product that they produce. More than 1/3 of the economy and the 90% of it depends on export agriculture products. The pigeon peas is that Malawi has been consistently producing between 60 to 90,000 tons in the last 5 years, and this year also we expect a similar production. Malawi does also have a bit of the domestic consumption as well, and that's the reason that the export figures may vary. Cowpeas is that they produce a very negligible quantity, and that has been about 1,000 to 2,000 tons that they produce. Green gram also they just started producing of late the thing, and that they export about 1,500 to 2,000 tons. The black gram is also a similar situation. Is just a new crop which we have introduced in the last couple of years, and that's why the export of both the commodities are very small. The key challenge is the Malawi is a landlocked country, so certainly we depend a lot on a road transport, and obviously they depend on the Mozambican ports. That's a key challenge for the export out of Malawi. The production depends once again. I think it's again very common across the Africa that we depend on a climate. Uganda, again, the pigeon peas is not the big production. The production varies between 8 to 14,000 tons. On an average, that they export about 12,000 tons. Again, Uganda is a landlocked country. The export has been obviously, sometimes it does get accounted along with the Kenyan as well. And green gram also the similar situations that they do produce between 80 to 40,000 tons. They do export about 10,000 tons, and obviously against a similar situation like pigeon peas does get accounted as a part of the Kenyan export. the opportunities and, and the benefits of the Africa. The East Africa nowadays plays an important role for the importing the origins for the India, especially the pigeon peas. Apart from the green mung beans and the chana is not the major production, but definitely that the Africa, I mean, especially East Africa plays, East and Central Africa plays the major role when it comes to the pigeon peas. The pigeon peas availability is quite suitable. It arrives between available from July to August, and that is the time that India needs it most actually. Advantage, one of the advantage that it is a close proximity to the India. That's why it's a short transit time. That is one of the benefit that we have it. Quality is widely accepted by the millers. Earlier we used to struggle with our pigeon peas, but nowadays in India that the quality has been very widely accepted, and although we produce the bold varieties. Quantities available are increasing. Certainly we have seen a considerable growth. We used to export about 10 to 20,000 tons, and today we have reached to that to about 200,000 tons. So certainly there is a tremendous growth in the terms of the supply. The huge investment going into the empowering the African smallholders farmers. I think there are a lot of NGOs and the government is putting a lot of efforts to empowering these people. So that's also an opportunity to things. African export policies are expected to get in double. As I said to you that when we started, it was about 10 to 20,000 tons. Today we do about 200,000 tons, and we see this growth continue for the next 8 to 10 years. The challenge is about the only 25% of the arable lands under cultivations. There is a huge land bank is available, which is not being utilized. It is dominated by the smallholders, and most of the smallholders are below 5 hectares. So assembling these things is a key challenge, and that is where as yesterday mentioned, that in India we have a post-harvest losses. Similarly, the Africa, because of the smallholders, we have a huge post-harvest losses there. There is a little infrastructure has been quite poor. That is very common across the Africa. So the infrastructure is a major concern that we have it. Yield enhancing also when you talk of the uses of the fertilizers, is the rest of the world uses about 1 kilogram per hectare, while in Africa we are hardly using about 125 kilograms per hectare. This is another factor which is very important, is the tractors uses. If you look at that in the rest of the world, there are about 200 numbers of the tractors available for every 100 square kilometers, while in Africa we have about 13 on an average. Even I believe these figures are too high as of now, but we're just trying to gauge the across the whole Africa. So in terms of the mechanized farming, it's a major challenge. As of now, around 85% the farming is being done manually on a typical hose and showers. The trade challenges, what we have it, currency is a major factor in Africa, although it's supposed to us, but then it sometimes also it works on other way. The climate challenge, that the entire agriculture is depending on a weather, and that's a major challenge that we have it. Focus on a non-cash crop for the own consumptions, as their priorities is not the commercial crop. I think most of as 70 to 80% population is engaged with the agriculture sectors, and their priority is to produce the staple food. Extremely poor infrastructures, that is also we have seen the major challenge that we have it in Africa. And regulatory challenge is that on and off the policy decisions are always interfering with it's one of the challenges that we should consider. With this, I'd like to say thank you to everyone.
Any questions?
Good.
Goenkaji, can you please step up on stage and present Ms. Jayesh Bhai with a memento? We'll move on with the panel discussion. Before that, we have a presentation.
एक और बार
Thank you, sir. The next presentation, ladies and gentlemen, is what we look forward to. It is by our title partner, RV. And we have the man behind RV here with us. As I said earlier, he's a man of many parts and a qualified chartered accountant. Also, he's totally involved in computers, being a computer engineer. He now drives RV International.